gentlemen, boys and girls, stop what you're doing. Stop playing the game. Pause that episode that you watching. Turn that movie off. Take the food off the stove, out the oven, out the air fryer, the microwave. Because over here is just oops. I'm Amari. This is Darion, and as always, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. Just got off work, got done making some money. Can't complain.
Right? Can't complain at all.
And then, birthday week, so I'm excited about that. Big weekend big party weekend here at Bloom. Happens to fall on my birthday, so
Hey, you be safe, bro.
I will
Um,
will be safe.
but yeah, bro, 20 ball. Hey, that's crazy.
Getting old, bro.
Boys out the teens, bro. 20 ball.
Yeah, I got a two in front of my age now. It's getting real.
Whole new chapter of life.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, bro. I had me a game this weekend. Bro, it was so much going on this weekend with I was trying to watch WrestleMania and the basketball, and then I had my game going on. Wanted to hang out with my teammates, so I was running all over the place. All devices was at use. Um, but yeah, man, had me a nice goal. Team won 5-0. Uh, yeah, can't
Seen,
complain.
seen that goal. Nice little goal. Basketball. Yeah, it was. I feel like a lot of the games were similar. There was one standout game, but we don't have to talk about it. And but I feel like, a lot of game ones went the same way for some teams. And I wasn't expecting that, but we'll get into that.
All right. We just gonna skip past, some of the games, but we'll talk about some other ones. But before we get into it, Mari's question of the day. This is not a texture ball knowledge question. This is more of a conversational topic. Um, I heard Mad Dog say on First Take he was doing an A list because Stephen A wasn't there, and he brought up the idea of the first round of NBA playoffs being best of five instead of seven. How you feel about that?
Um, I mean, best of five, you win three, and I think I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think it would help shorten it and eliminate rest for some, like let's put the Celtics as an example. That's just the team that came to my mind. Let's say they sweep the Cavs and they play the winner of the Knicks Pistons, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that goes seven. So they get two, almost 3 weeks off
Mhm.
because they were able to finish the series quicker. So I think in that aspect it could help because now it's not putting a fully rested team versus a team that just went 7 games and right back into it. So then it's all almost like it's all even, kind of. But I don't know, I think taking away games hurts because that's like let's say 3-1 when the Cavs came back. That series right there, they don't get that opportunity to make a
See, I would agree if like the whole playoffs were cut down, but
yeah,
just the first round, I like it
just
because I honestly I don't want to see the Cavs and the Heat play for 7 games. Like, yeah, you'll probably say the Cavs will get out in four, but like I feel like there's no need for the first round to be seven. Like the playoffs drag out so long
yeah, they do.
because of and like there's 8 series going on right now. You know what I mean? So we're not gonna have a lack of basketball by shortening it to 5 games. Like there's just so many games going on right now, and like it's really a drag to watch all these games like over and over and over. Like with the first round, like we want to get deep into the playoffs as fast as possible. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like yeah, the start of the playoffs is exciting and stuff, but now as we get into Game 3 of Celtics Magic, I don't I don't really care. Like I'll be tuned in just in case it's a close game, but like I mean, I really don't care,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think some matchups, like Wolves Lakers, you want to see that seven. Like that's a some matchups are just more key than others, and I it affects it because it's like, yeah, some of these don't need to go seven, but some of these might need like three won't. I don't think three would be good. Three wins would be good for Lakers, Wolves. Like I think that's a
You
series.
think a fourth is needed?
I think a fourth is needed in that series.
Mm. See, but I keep looking over to the right here. I got the Knicks Pistons game on to my right. For those wondering. But I don't feel like the intensity will go anywhere.
Right.
Like especially if it
Yeah,
goes down to three, like the
that's more
intensity will
intense.
just
Yeah,
raise. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't think you're really hurting anything by just the first round 5 game series.
I, I mean, it definitely should be looked at. That would bring the finals to the end of May,
Yeah,
which would
a
be
little earlier. Yeah,
a little earlier, yeah, which would be beneficial. And like you said, it's not like drag was a good word. It does get dragged. The playoffs,
right.
really a drag. And then with everything being every other day, finals is every 2 days. So I think that would five would be interesting. I didn't look at it. The intensity would definitely increase.
Mhm.
It would change the way that teams play. Game one is more of a figure things out, but
Right.
best of
Now
five,
you need every game.
yeah, best of five, you got to win game one.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting. I think they could. I mean, is the G League? Do you know if they do best of seven playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know how the G League playoffs work. All I know is in the G League, Mac McClung took his team to the finals, averaging 40 and a half points on 60% shooting from the field.
He needs to be in the league.
Crazy work, bro. Like
That's
that. How is there such a skill gap to where he can go to the G League and average 40 and a half points and then come into the NBA and be a bum, not getting minutes like 2 points per game?
that is a crazy skill gap.
Like
Like
that's crazy, right?
that's an insane skill gap. So I want to put an NBA player in the G League. What are they about to go for?
Right.
Like a
So like JD
global?
Davidson won MVP and he just got, a full contract with the Celtics. I
Hmm.
think he averaged close to it was like between 35 and 39, I think. He averaged and I mean JD Davidson hasn't been successful in his NBA career yet.
Right.
Maybe that's a change that's about to happen. Maybe all he needed was the um the push of getting confidence and stuff in the G League. But yeah, bro, the skill gap is insane.
It is insane. I just asked if you knew because I feel like a lot of their stuff they implemented G League first, test it out, see how it works. So as I say, you can run the trial and error there, see how it affects it. I also think they would go seven still. They wouldn't change it because of ratings and money
Mhm.
wise. Uh,
Yeah,
7 game, you get 7 games, 7 games of money. So
right.
I think that'd be a hard reason for them not to change.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only negative that I was thinking about, especially as an owner. Like voting for it, I bet that they would vote against it just because of the money situation.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, big focus on today's episode. We could do this first and then go into the first round of games later. Um, we're gonna do our final award ballots today. Um, we got MVP, Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, and Clutch Player of the Year. So 7 awards to get through. We already got the top three from the NBA. They released the finalists. Which one you want to start with?
I have MVP at the top, but
All
I
right, me too.
you got MVP.
I'm ready.
I'm
Who
going
was
for
your MVP?
okay. I know we've been on and off with this, and I've changed my answer about 10 times now.
Yep.
My final answer is Nikola Jokic. He's averaging 30, 12, and 10, triple double on the season, right? And when he's on the court, The Nuggets net rating is 5.3. He steps off
Mhm.
it drops down to negative 4.5. And what is the MVP? A player who contributes most to their team success during the season or competition. It's a 9.8 point swing right there. Like he is the sole contributor to this team. So
Right.
by the meaning of the definition that the NBA gave, he is the MVP of the league.
My MVP is Nikola Jokic as well. I mean, everything that you just said, and then I mean, he's the best player in the world.
Yeah,
Like, he's the best player in the world. I went into the advanced stats as well. His PER, per minute production, 32, best in the league. Um, assist percentage, Jokic is number one by far. This is the estimate of like teammate field goals assisted by this player. Jokic is at 44.1%. Giannis 36, Shea 31. Actually, Jokic is number two. Sorry, Trae Young was number one. He led the league in assists this year. But I mean, like every advanced stat favors Jokic almost.
yeah.
Like there's not a I couldn't find a reason to give it to Shea other than he averaged more points and his team had a better record.
That,
But
that's the only argument for Shea. That
yeah, but I mean MVP is who is the best player in the who is the most valuable player in the league? It's Nikola Jokic, bro.
is Nikola Jokic.
It's got to be.
Yeah. After all the debating and switching, that's the outcome I came to. I had to look at it from that perspective, and I'm satisfied
Mm,
with my answer because the
yeah,
9.8 point swing is crazy, and
right.
that was a selling factor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, bro. And I mean, I was also looking at like usage percentage, and I thought that Jokic would be very high.
Mhm.
Because obviously I feel like everything in Denver runs through Jokic. But looking at it, Shea and Giannis are both top three in usage. Jokic is 19th in the league in usage percentage. So he's doing all of this with less usage than all these guys. You know what I mean?
19 is crazy. I
Yeah.
definitely thought he would be top five.
Right.
It makes sense for Shea to be at the top or above him. He's a point
Uh-huh.
guard. He's handling the ball,
Yeah.
but 19 and being able to average a triple double and be that impactful to your team is ridiculous.
Right, bro. Yeah. I couldn't find the argument for Shea. Like there's too many arguments for Jokic for me to put Shea above him.
Yeah, I hope the voters use this logic and don't do voter fatigue because
Right, bro.
we know who it needs to be.
Moving on, what you got next on your list?
DPOY.
Me too. Lay it out.
I got Draymond Green, DPOY.
Mm,
Um, his numbers aren't the best, but it's his impact on the court, his impact defensively that he has that sold me. Uh, I had some key matchups in here when they played the Bucks and one-on-ones with Giannis. He held Giannis 0 for 7 in that matchup. And Luka and Tatum, he held them both under 40% when they matched up one-on-one.
mhm.
So, I mean, those are some of the best scorers in the league, and he's able to stop them, stop their momentum. And I think that's impressive, especially at the size that he is. For Giannis, he's not big. And then for the other two, those are guards, are smaller, are wings, and he's able to keep up and slow them down. And his ability to communicate, I think, plays a factor. He he sees everything defensively very well, and it stops a lot of actions. He gets a lot of deflections. He makes the right plays defensively that gets the Warriors transition buckets and opportunities. So, I mean, on paper, the stats don't show, but he does a lot of the right things. His defensive rating when he's on the court is top five. Opponent field goal percentage is inside 10 feet, significantly lower when he's contesting. He has the highest contested per 36 minutes. I got Draymond.
Give me Dyson Daniels.
I knew
I
you were
don't
going to go ahead.
think he's gonna win it because he's a guard.
Yeah.
But the thing with Draymond, since Draymond's come into the discussion, oh my gosh, Miles McBride just hit a fadeaway bank 3-pointer at the shot clock buzzer. I don't. Since Draymond has come into the Defensive Player of the Year discussion, what else has happened for the Warriors? They got Jimmy Butler.
Right.
So the team defense has grown so much. And obviously, Draymond is the anchor. But in terms of the best individual defender in the league, I think it's got to be Dyson Daniels. His steal percentage, obviously, number one in the league. And it's so much harder to get steals than blocks in the NBA.
It is.
Uh, Dyson Daniels' steal percentage, is 4.7, I believe. Draymond 2.4, Mobley 1.4. This is the possessions that end with the steal by this player when they are on the floor. Percentage of possessions. So I mean, it's so much harder to get steals than blocks. Dyson Daniels has shown that he's a great on-ball defender on a bad defensive team. You know what I mean? So obviously Draymond, he's the anchor of this great defensive team. Mobley, one of the anchors of this great defensive team. And the thing with Mobley as well, the advanced stats don't really jump off the page for him, and the like steal block, all those type of stats don't jump off the page either. I mean, Dyson Daniels, I feel like has a combination of both, and the lack of team defense grows his case as an individual defender. I feel like for me,
I knew you were gonna go Dyson. It was I mean, the defensive rating went on the floor. He's top five. His opponent field goal percentage dropping significantly on his contest. Highest contested shots per 36. I mean, that's individual.
yeah,
And that stands out to me, especially for a lot of the inside 10 and highest contests. Those are usually centers in that spot. And I mean, Draymond's a
right.
playing the five, but a very small five, and still being able to be at the top of that list, that stands out to me. That's why I had him there.
Yeah, definitely has a case. I definitely think it's between those two.
Yeah.
But then again, like I feel like since he's come into this race, the Warriors have also added Jimmy Butler in their team. Like they show the stats like almost every game that the Warriors play. Like before they had Jimmy and since the trade deadline, as they added Jimmy, and they are like top five in all of these defensive stats all of a sudden. And yeah, you can attribute that to Draymond for sure, a lot of it, but also they just acquired Jimmy Butler, which their team defense now like looks so much better. And I feel like that's what's blowing Draymond up.
I mean, it's probably helping with his recognition of what he is doing, but I don't think that takes away from what he has accomplished.
Mhm.
But Dyson, I think he has a good case for it as well. I mean, like you said, his steals numbers 4%. That's the highest we've seen in how many years? And
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna look at the all time, but I forgot. I was, trying to hurry up and get all these. I was doing so much research, bro. Uh,
right, most steals in the season since I forget what year it is.
yeah, bro, he's averaging 3 steals a game, bro.
Yeah,
And like during the season, it was higher.
that's ridiculous. So I think of these awards, this one might be one of the most like 50-50 ones. I think it
Yeah,
could go
I
either
think both
way.
of the ones we discussed so far are gonna be up for grab. Like nobody knows.
Well, yeah, for MVP, yeah, it's gonna be up
Right,
for grabs, but
right,
I mean, forgot about that. But I think this one will be up for grabs as well. But it's gonna favor Draymond because they don't like giving the guards it.
right, for sure. Yeah. Um, I got most improved next on my list.
Okay.
Now, for me, this award, well, tell me who you got first.
I went with the answer I went with is gonna, it's the questionable pick. Is he really most improved? But I went with Cade. Yeah, and he's X number one pick, whatever. They won 14 games last season. They're a six seed now. And majority of that is from Cade. He has a very big role in this team. and he accepted the role and he flourished in this role and got him to the playoffs. He's averaging 26, 10, and 6 with a steal and a block a game. I mean, that was my all-star. That's improvement. I can't really hate on it, regardless of where he got picked.
I can't give it to him. I can't, bro. He's the number like he's supposed to do this. Like I feel like the most improved award should be going to guys that like it's an unexpected jump. You know what I mean? Dyson Daniels, the jump like came out of nowhere. Zubac, his yearly growth from like a just a random like backup big in the league to now a top like I have him as a top 10 center now in the league. Where Cade Cunningham, he was the number one pick in his he's supposed to be a superstar. He's supposed to grow into it. Like it's not unexpected that Cade Cunningham has made these jumps and like has become an all-star. Like he's supposed to do that. That's his expectation. Whereas these other two guys have never had these expectations on them. And now that they're going above their expectation. Whereas Cade is just meeting his expectation. Like, yeah, he's grown, but it's expected growth, I feel like. That's like for example, LeBron James comes in the league, he averaged 15 his rookie year. The next year he jumps to 26. He's supposed to like all of these expectations are on these number one picks for a reason. They're supposed to become something big. And when they don't, yeah, like it's a problem. It's seen as a problem because they're supposed to have these like they have these expectations that they're supposed to be superstars.
I think it's also more from the fact of they went 14 wins to a 6 seed. We haven't seen as a number one pick. Like, yeah, that's your role, but that's a big jump. Like, you don't see that. And I mean,
See, go ahead.
you also have to look at the uh most improved players. It favors these players who have been drafted highly, and you know,
See, but I feel like this is more of a recent thing. Like like Giannis won most improved,
yeah,
Victor Oladipo,
Pascal,
like
the
Pascal,
Julius Randle,
uh
Maxi.
yeah, I feel like it's a recent thing that like most improved are going to guys that were drafted highly. You know what I mean? And I feel like in the past, like it hasn't been that. I feel like this award is shifting to something that it shouldn't be.
I agree. I don't think if you're a top 10, if you're a lottery pick, you shouldn't qualify for most improved player. You're doing what you're supposed to do. That's why you're in the lottery. But
Unless you are labeled a bust at one point, and you're averaging like 5 points per game and you jump to 25 points per game,
yeah,
you get most improved.
yeah. But I mean, like with Cade, nobody was like, "Oh, he's not doing nothing." Everybody was like, "Oh, he's on the Pistons. Like, save him." But
This is projected growth.
yeah, but I mean, I had to use the bias of the recent history, and that 14 to 6 seed stood out. I mean, that's a crazy jump in one season.
I was gonna say I feel like that's more of a case for JB Biggerstaff than Cade. Yes, sure, Cade had a big part to play in it, but I feel like that's more of a case for Coach of the Year versus Most Improved. Like my I didn't even say who my winner was. I have Zubac. As I said, I feel like he's jumped into like a top 10 center in basketball. Like he does everything that you want from a center play, like protects the rim, rebounds, can score now back to the basket, has become like a real problem. He's averaging like 17 points per game. And this is like he's grown his game over the years, like and molded himself into this like fundamental big that can, really impact winning basketball.
Right. Yeah, I'm not mad at Zoo. That's a good pick. I think Dyson, I think a couple more seasons, maybe one, two more seasons, it would have been a better argument for him. I think his defense stands out phenomenally, but his offensive game still could have development.
Mm.
And like you said, Zubac, that's double machine. He's grown into like I can agree top 10 center in the league. I don't know. I just know Kate is favorited right now, and it's hard to look past the recent how they've gone about it recently and take that away.
So are you picking based on who you think is gonna win the award, or are your picks as to your award winners?
Both. I mean, I want my pick to win the award, so I would say both.
Wait, you kind of lagged a little bit. What'd you say?
I said both because I mean I want my pick to win the award. So like I'm picking off a base of what I think, but also like the relevancy of like the odds and I'm making it make sense. I'm not just,
Right, right. Okay. Um, I got six man of the year next right here.
all right.
This one was probably the easiest pick for me. Uh, Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually made jumps this year. Like his totals and all his points and all that have gone up. And I mean, like when we think of bench players in basketball right now, Peyton Pritchard is at the top of my mind.
Yeah.
Like what he does for Boston, like, and then when they don't play, like he shows how great of a scorer he actually is. Whenever they need him most, he's there. Like he'll give you 28 off the bench if JB and Jalen and Jason Tatum not performing. So I mean, I feel like that's the perfect six man, and it's an easy pick, Peyton Pritchard for me.
Yeah, I got Pritch as well. We always talk about how deep Boston is, how they have options who could be their third and fourth. And this is one of them.
Yeah,
I mean, he's giving you numbers grown. He's giving you 30 off the bench, 30 minutes a game.
yeah, right,
He's plus 430 on the season with 30 minutes. So you can't say it's bench garbage time. No, he's effective. He's
right,
very efficient when he's on the court, and that's also why he's more efficient than Ty and Malik.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a pretty easy choice for me as well.
yeah, facts. Speaking of Malik, oh, I hope he's straight because he just fell hard.
I'm ahead of you. He's good. He's at the free throw line.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, man, he just fell hard on his. He tried to bang out, fell on his back. Um, but yeah. Next I got Rookie of the Year.
Yep,
Now we talked about this when we were like predicting it earlier in the year. Did we both have the same person?
I believe so.
I had Wells.
Oh no, I didn't.
Who you have?
I have my boy Castle.
You still got Castle?
I'm still rocking
Hey,
with
yeah, the
Castle.
way you smiled, I could tell you still had Castle. I don't actually have Wells anymore. I have that Gray Richardson.
Okay,
Now he started off slow and he wasn't the like number one pick that the Wimby, basically.
right.
Anthony Edwards, Aid, he's not that type of number one pick. But he's found his role well as the season has gone on with the Hawks. And he's, shown sparks of being a really great player in NBA. So I mean, I feel like his averages as well, like solid, shot the ball decently for a wing that shoots a lot of threes. So I mean, I gave it to Zachary Richardson.
I kept Castle. His numbers pretty solid. A big reason I stuck with him was his jump. Well, from when Wemby got hurt. So starting March 1st, he jumped,
Mhm.
averaging 15, 4, and 4 on the season.
Yep.
And then from March 1st to the end of the season, he jumped to 19, 5, and 5. And that, I mean, he showed signs that he can, be a great player. He can assist, he can score, he can rebound. He does his role. And I feel as if his role is more impactful than Wells and Richardson. I think, like you said, Rich say he found his role late, and I think that played a factor in hurting his case. Like you
Mhm.
said, coming in number one, like those other guys, they knew what they were when they got there. He
Yeah.
found it late, and I think that affected it and slowed him down. And Wells, I think Wells's case, he was more of a defensive player for the Grizzlies. He wasn't really his offense was yes, it was effective, it was good, but I think they used him more of a defensive player. He's going to guard key assignments, best players on other teams. So I think that it slowed down his offensive numbers since he was out
Right.
his all on defense. So I
Yeah.
I didn't have him for my pick for that reason.
Yeah, I had him last year as well because of like I mean his numbers offensively. He hasn't shot the ball well this season.
Yeah,
Just things like that. Yeah, the defense has been great and impactful for the Grizzlies, but I mean obviously it's two sides to the game. And I think that Wemby and Vassell, I mean Wemby and Fox getting hurt like helped Castle,
it did.
honestly.
Yeah, it did.
Like, like it gave him he had more responsibility and more room to just go hoop, you know go hoop in the NBA, get a better feel for everything that's going on the floor. And as you said, the jump, yeah, he has a really, really, really strong case for Rookie of the Year. So I mean, it's definitely between those two in my eyes.
Yeah, I think Wells he's third best, but I think it's definitely between those two. I don't think he really has a case for it
Yeah,
just because, like you said, shooting numbers aren't great and offensive side of the ball, not the best. It's
yeah,
just he's a great defender, but it's two sides of the story.
yeah. Yeah, I don't really have nothing else for Rookie of the Year.
No, me neither.
I got Coach of the Year next. Now, this one was hard.
This was hard. This was
This
hard.
was hard. Um, I have Ime Udoka though.
Okay.
So it was between Bickerstaff and Udoka for me. Now, Kenny Atkinson, yes, the Cavs had a great year, but they weren't the best team in the league. So his case, I feel like, as good as the Cavs were, is not as great as Bickerstaff and Udoka. I saw a stat the other day. The Rockets in the past 3 seasons before this one won a total like 59 games.
Yeah.
This year, they won 52 games in the talented Western Conference and got the 2 seed.
It's their first
So, I
playoff
mean,
appearance since the bubble as well.
right, right. Since Harden left, this is obviously the best that they've been. They're up to it. Like the big thing for me versus Bickerstaff was they were in the Western Conference.
That's a that's enough right
Like
there.
you got the 2 seed above the Lakers, the Nuggets, and it's not like they built out this lead that toward the end of the season they could chill. They had to get it back.
Yeah, they
They
did.
fell, and then they had to get it back. So I mean, all shout outs to the Rockets, bro. I got Udoka.
I went with the one that wasn't in your contention. I went with Kenny.
Really?
I did. I think as a 64 and 18 season, second best team in the league. You lead the league in offensive rating, points per game, second in three-point shooting, top 10 defensive rating. I mean, that's it's a good resume right there. And when you take care of business, you do what you're supposed to do, you're more than likely going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And like you said, not the best team in the league, but I mean, they handle business, they get work done, and I mean, they play the best teams in the league. We've seen it all season. They take care of them, they handle them. And I mean, that starts with coaching. Your coach can, you have a good coach, you could take care of business like that. And I think
Mm.
this team is well developed because of the system that they have and who their head coach is.
Yeah, but for the other guys, I feel like they did more with less.
Yeah, I understand that.
Like and where they just came from last year, both of them like really, really bad seasons. Obviously, the Rockets the past 3 years, the Pistons been bad, like laughing stock of the league last year. So
Yeah.
I mean, to now both in the playoffs, Pistons 6 seed, battling with the Knicks, like you know, Rockets 2 seed, battling with the Warriors. So I mean, I gotta go with one of them, and I gave it to Udoka because of the Western Conference.
I picked Kenny. His numbers, I mean, the numbers stood out, being the top in the league in offensive rating, points per game, second three-point shooting. I mean, that's to be top in all three of the key offensive categories and then top 10 in defense as well. You're doing it right both sides of the ball. That's hard to look past.
Right, right. Um, Well, we got one more here. Clutch player of the year. This one was pretty easy for me. Once I looked at, once I took a deep dive into the stats, I had to go Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Um, Jalen Brunson, his field goal percentage of shots crucial to the game's outcome, 70%. 70%. And he shot more than both Jokic and Anthony Edwards. Uh oh no, Jokic shot more, but he's right there. Anthony Edwards shot 22, Brunson shot 25, Jokic shot 29. Nobody's close to Jalen Brunson when it comes to that field goal percentage. Jalen Brunson was 70%,
On a league average of 40%.
league average of 40%. Jokic and Ant-Man were around the 45, around that area. Jalen Brunson was 70%.
Yeah. When I first started, I went Ant, and then I found that number, and I was like, never mind. I disregard that whole thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I went Brunson. I mean, second, 150 clutch points, 52%. He leads the league, 5.6 clutch points a game, 0.3 turnovers, and I mean, you're getting this many. He gets 30% of the clutch possessions, 0.3 turnovers, 5.6 points. Like he wants the ball, and he's not just calling for it and doing nothing. We see Ant, he gets the ball in the clutch, and he's either forcing, he might turn it over, but Brunson, he's gonna get to his spot and knock down a shot. And it's just that 70%. That's
yeah, off the charts. It's crazy.
like he's more than likely to hitting that shot. That's how you're looking at that.
Yeah,
That's
facts.
crazy.
Facts. Yeah, bro. Well, that wraps up our awards. I kind of see we did see a lot of playoff basketball. All the game ones, obviously, but I like to recap after game two
Yeah.
because I want
Game
to see it. Just like I want to see if that was real. You know what I mean?
like this Knicks uh Pistons game, like they battling right now. Like
Yeah, yeah,
adjustments were made, and
right,
yeah,
right.
I think we should after game two would be good.
Okay, so we'll do recaps of first round series so far on the next episode. Y'all see that Saturday. Um, but yeah, that's all of our awards. Anything else you want to touch on?
Um, no, I'm just glad we don't have to talk about that performance.
Yeah, that's what I want to wait for game two, actually.
Like,
Uh,
that was so bad.
yeah, bro. I mean, man, man, man. I mean, both of our teams.
Yeah, but I mean, yours was
Yeah,
so.
bro. Y'all got 60 ball. Y'all got 60. All right. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it. We'll save it for this weekend. You got any words of wisdom for any other struggling fans that might be out there?
Yeah, I got some. Not all progress is visible, but every step matters. You may not see progress right away when you're making a change, but just know it's there and continue to take those steps, continue to do those things that are building you closer to where you want to be, and it will be visible sooner than later. You just gotta trust the process.
Hey, that's a fact. Keep working hard, keep grinding, even when nobody's watching. It's not about who sees what you're doing. It'll come out eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, W words of wisdom. Um, yeah, let's get to this next playoff game because hey, we down to the wire right now.
It's getting chippy. I'm trying to tune in.
Yeah, we'll catch y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.